Hey, welcome to video number 196 of Walker This Way with Hazel Walker, the queen of all things.
BNI and networking and beards.
And beards, yeah. Little growth today. I am Mark Simmons with a little growth. Hey, trying something new. I figured to celebrate the 196th video, got to do something different.
You just let that beard grow out a little bit.
Let it grow out, yeah.
Well, it's perfect timing for winters. Winter's coming along, and that's a good time to have a beard.
You need a warm face.
Yeah, you gotta have, especially if your head's not warm.
Yeah, my head is never warm. So, Hazel Walker.
Yes.
Facebook relationship status. It's complicated. It's complicated. So
that is a status on Facebook.
Yeah, it is a status on Facebook. It is not my status on Facebook, but it is some people's status. But then there's also this life status. It's complicated.
It's complicated.
And then you and I were talking about, but why is it complicated? Who's making it complicated?
Yeah.
And that's the question we throw out is, are you making your own life complicated? Like, what are you doing?
Yes, that's exactly right. We make our life, we make everything complicated. And there's some people who also try to make your life complicated. Like, you need more. More is not better.
No.
More can be more complicated.
Unless it's chocolate. More chocolate is better. But more stuff, more things to do. No.
More things, yeah. And I noticed that in business, people have a tendency to overcome. One of the things I love about BNI, and I've always said this, even when I was training in Australia, when I was living there and working, I would say to the executive directors all the time, BNI is a simple process.
Yeah.
It's a simple business. I mean, the processes itself is pretty simple. Now, the moment you start adding all the people to it, it has a tendency to get overcomplicated. It's like the remote control. The simplest remote control my father ever had was me holding the rabbit ears.
Higher, left, more there. No, go back.
Hold it. Aluminum foil on them. Hold it right there.
Yeah.
That was the simplest, right? But now I look at some of the remote controls for the television and the stereos and things, and I can't, especially if it's from one of the cable companies.
Right.
I can't figure them out. They're overly complicated. I just needed to go on and off, up and down, and change the channel. That's it. On and down, up and down, on and off, change the channel. They're too complicated. And I think that's what happens to our lives. We have a tendency to overcomplicate our lives by adding too much to it.
Yeah. I know, in being in real estate now as a realtor, but also in my consulting practice, it comes up a lot. But one of the things, in real estate, one of the questions is, are you looking for something turnkey, or you want to do renovations? What do you want to do? And a lot of times, especially people who are investing, or they want a unit to turn into like a rental or a vacation rental, it's turnkey. It's furnished. They walk in, there it is. They have to do nothing.
Right.
Well, BNI as an operation, a chapter is turnkey.
Which is exactly the way a franchise is supposed to be, right?
Right. Right. Here's the book, here's the manual, here's the things, here's the instructions. Just do that and you'll be golden. And then there's a lot of chapters and a lot of members go, well, that seems too simple. We're going to do all this other stuff out here. And we've talked about this in Walker This Way videos. We do all this other stuff, but we're not even doing the foundational things. And then the question at the end of it, well, we don't know why it's not working. Oh, here's why. You've made it complicated.
You've overcomplicated it. You've made it too hard.
Yeah.
You've made it too hard to be a member. You've made it too hard to be a franchise owner. You've made it too hard for people to function within it. And one of the things I find that creates complication in a chapter, and I've been dealing with it for the last 2 weeks, trying to fix things that chapters have broken, is when they make exceptions. Right. So that you've got policies, and they're really pretty spelled out, one person per profession, one profession per person. Yet I have multiple people holding 2 and 3 professions. And I have said, I'm going to start invoicing you for every profession you have, and you're blocking, right? Because you're holding 3 and you've paid for 1. So members chip committee start making exceptions. Well, it's part of his business. He owns all three. Okay, well, now he's blocking everybody and you can't figure out why you can't grow, right? So you broke one of the policies. And then the other one is attendance. Right? They change it, they make an exception, or medical leave. They don't get it in writing. And now it's overcomplicated because we got he said, she said, and all these things. And I go, I understand you want to make exceptions for your friends. I do understand that. But now look where we're at. We've got this complicated, tangled up mess.
Yeah.
And really, it's a simple system if you just follow the system.
Yeah. And we have, you know, there is, at least in BNI, there's a process for everything. So if you do this and it works, you do this. If it doesn't work, you do this. Like, it's already laid out. But if you're doing other things and people come to us and go, well, what do we do? We did this. We don't have an answer for you. There's nothing we can do because you created it. So we don't have a resolution for you.
Yeah.
Other than why did you do it in the first place?
Can't really fix it. And one of the chapters said to me, moving forward, we're just following the process and we're not deviating from it. And there is, sometimes you've got to have humanity and compassion and empathy, right? So sometimes there are things, but we have built that in. That's why we have a medical leave. That's why we have certificates of credit. That's why we have a substitute policy, because we know things are going to happen, right? And we need to give grace. And I'm fine with that. But you have to apply that grace all the way around. Right? To equally to everybody. And not just BNI. We overcomplicate our lives too.
Yeah.
Right? Our day-to-day lives get overcomplicated because we do too many things. And I always feel sorry I always kind of feel sorry for all the mothers who have their kids in so many different sporting and extracurricular activities. Yeah, my kids got one.
Yeah.
Choose one. That's it. You're doing one. Do it really, really well. You're not going to be in 3 or 4.
Yeah.
Right.
But you can choose that. You can choose to have your kids 3, 4, 5, or 1 or none, whatever you choose. But every action has a reaction, right? Every choice has a consequence. Sometimes the consequence is good, and sometimes it's not good.
Yeah. And if I'm
saying
yes over here all the time, I'm taking time away from something over here.
Yeah.
Right. So I've got to be cognizant of how is this going to complicate my life? If I take on this new job, if I buy this new car, if I buy this new house, how's this going to complicate my life? Everything we do adds just a little bit more on our shoulders and starts to create that complication for us. And we tend to do that to ourselves. Often I was just talking to my physio this morning and I said, he said, oh, I should get back to art. I go, doing your art and the things that you love is part of your self-care. It's the part of uncomplicating your life, right? And stop doing all of these things that aren't adding value to simplify your life. Right now, I'm trying to simplify my closets again.
Yeah.
Right? They've gotten too complicated.
It's need versus want.
Yeah.
Even any ship, any boat is going to sink when you overload it.
Yeah.
It's going to sink. It can only be stable for so long. And it's just that there was the Monty Python thing where the last mint, do you remember that? I forgot which one it was. Some people are going, who's Monty Python? Just one more mint. And after this massive meal, and it's what, blew the guy up. But we can only take so much. So the question we want to give to you is what is it you can simplify? What can you do to make your life less complicated? Stop complicating the BNI process. Just come back to the system and run it because it works.
The system. We literally have something for every aspect.
Yeah. And it might mean for some, you need to get out of your own way.
Yeah.
You might be blocking your own success. So.
Right. Don't give me don't give me a checklist. The checklist is the simplest thing to keep my life organized, right?
Right.
That's just how I have to manage life in order to not get it too overly complicated.
Yeah. All right, our friends, let's simplify things. Don't make it too complicated. Make good choices.
Make good choices.
There you go. That's our advice to you. Sum it up with that. Make good choices. Till next time, Hazel Walker.
See you then.
Bye.